The reason physicians need income outside of medicine is that additional income creates options, and options create freedom.
Welcome to the Physicians and Properties Podcast, the show where we teach you how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want.
Doctor!
Now, here's your host, Dr. Alex 𝗏𝗏.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Physicians and Properties Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Alex 𝗏𝗏. And today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I was scheduled to record an interview, but unfortunately, we ran into some technical difficulties and we were not able to make the recording happen. I sat here trying to decide what to do next, and I realized this was actually a pretty fitting reminder of something we talk about all the time on the podcast. Things do not always go according to plan. Deals fall apart, tenants move out, interest rates change, partners disappoint us, technology fails, careers take turns that we did not expect. And financial freedom is not about building a life where nothing ever goes wrong. It's about building enough margin, flexibility, and resilience that when something does go wrong, it does not control your next move. So today, I want to talk about the real reason I believe physicians need income outside of medicine. It's not because medicine is bad, because medicine is amazing. It's not because every physician needs to quit clinical practice. And it's not because owning rental properties automatically creates some perfect stress-free life. The reason physicians need income outside of medicine is that additional income creates options, and options create freedom. Most physicians spend the first decade or more of their adult lives preparing to practice medicine. We sacrifice our 20s and sometimes a large portion of our 30s. We delay income, we accumulate student loans, we miss weddings, holidays, family events, and countless ordinary moments because we are studying, taking call, or caring for patients. Then eventually, we do become attending physicians. Our income increases dramatically, and for the first time, we feel like we have finally arrived. But that income often comes with a catch. Our lifestyle expands. The mortgage gets bigger, the cars get nicer, the kids enter private school and expensive activities. We take on commitments based on the assumption that the physician paycheck will always be there. And before long, we may be earning way more money than we ever imagined, but it also feels like we cannot afford to slow down. That is the trap. That is the golden stethoscope or the golden handcuffs. Because the problem is not earning a high income. A high income is an absolutely incredible tool, and I'm so grateful that we have that opportunity. But the problem is building a life that requires every dollar of that high income to continue indefinitely. Because once that happens, medicine is no longer something that you freely choose. It becomes something that you have to do. You may still love caring for patients. You may still feel called to medicine. But when you cannot reduce your hours, change jobs, take a sabbatical, walk away from a toxic environment, spend time with your family, your relationship with medicine changes. It's difficult to feel free in a profession that you can never afford to leave. So what people, when they hear the phrase financial freedom, they often imagine retiring at 45, never working again, and sitting on the beach somewhere. That's never been my primary goal, and I do not believe most physicians need to or want to abandon medicine. Our work matters. Physicians have the opportunity to help people during some of the most vulnerable moments of their lives, and what a privilege that is. But I do believe that physicians should have the ability to practice medicine and live life on their own terms. Financial freedom might mean reducing from 5 clinical days per week to 3. It might mean leaving an employed position and starting a direct primary care practice. It might mean going per diem. It might mean taking a month off with your family without worrying about how every bill will get paid. It might mean saying no to an extra shift because your son has a soccer game. It might mean choosing not to tolerate a toxic administrator, an unsafe workplace, or a schedule that is destroying your health. Freedom does not mean you stop working. Freedom means work becomes a choice instead of a financial requirement. So physicians are vulnerable because a lot of us have highly concentrated income streams and just one of them. We may earn $250,000, $400,000, or even $700,000 per year, but nearly all of it may come from one source: our ability to continue practicing medicine. That income depends on our health, on our license, on our credentialing, on our employer, on reimbursement policies, and our willingness to continue exchanging time for money. For many years, I did not fully appreciate how fragile that could be, and then life gives you reminders. An injury can happen, a health crisis can change, a contract can change, a department can restructure, a hospital can be acquired. Burnout can reach a point where continuing at the same pace is no longer sustainable. And we're often told that becoming a physician creates security, and in many ways it does. But an income that depends almost entirely on your ability to show up and perform, that's not financial security. True security comes from building assets and income streams that do not depend exclusively on your next clinic shift. So this is where real estate entered the picture for me. Real estate can create cash flow, equity, tax advantages, long-term appreciation and depreciation. But the properties themselves are not the ultimate goal. The goal is what these properties can make possible. Maybe a rental property only produces a few $100s per month in the beginning, and that might not feel life-changing for you. But one property can become two, and two can become five, and debt gets paid down, and rent increases, and equity grows. And over time, maybe what was a modest additional income stream can be something much more substantial. And more importantly, your first investment, that really changes how you think. You begin to understand that income does not have to come from only your labor. A switch flips in your brain and you realize, I made this money without having to work. And you start seeing money as something that can be deployed to buy assets. You learn how financing works and leverage when used right. You learn how to evaluate opportunities, manage risk, build teams, and solve problems. That shift is often way more valuable than the initial cash flow. But I also want to be honest. Real estate is not passive and it is not risk-free. Properties need repairs, operators can fail, markets can change, projects go over budget. A deal that looks excellent in a spreadsheet may perform poorly in real life. Financial freedom is not built by pretending that risk does not exist. It is built by learning to evaluate risk, diversifying appropriately, and avoid betting your family's future on any single opportunity. Because real estate is a tool. It can be an excellent tool, but it must serve the life that you are trying to build. It must be the appropriate tool for you. One of the mistakes that physicians can make is leaving one treadmill to build another. A physician overwhelmed by medicine discovers real estate and tries to become a full-time landlord, a contractor, property manager, content creator, and syndicator, all while continuing to practice full-time. That is not freedom at all. That is simply collecting more responsibilities. Before you choose an investment strategy, you have to get honest about your time, your resources, and your path. Do you have the time? Do you have the money? Do you have the experience? Do you enjoy operating businesses and solving property level problems? Or would you rather invest passively with experienced operators? There's no universally correct answer, but there is the right answer for you. Maybe you're a resident with more time than money, and you could benefit by house hacking or helping an experienced investor in exchange for learning opportunities. Or you're a high-income attending with young children in a demanding call schedule. It might be better to invest passively or carefully select rental properties with professional management if that's your situation. The point is you do not have to copy someone else's portfolio, but you do need to choose a strategy that moves you towards freedom without destroying the life that you are trying to protect and that you're trying to build. Social media can make it seem like success requires thousands of doors, a private equity company, or hundreds of millions of dollars in assets under management. It does not. You do not need a massive real estate portfolio to change your life. Imagine that your household needs $15,000 per month to maintain your current lifestyle. If you build enough investment income to cover $3,000 per month, you haven't reached financial independence, but you've created some breathing room. And that breathing room might allow you to stop taking an extra call shift. At $5,000 per month, maybe you can reduce your clinical schedule. At $10,000 per month, your entire relationship with work may change. Freedom is not always a switch that suddenly turns on. It's often built in layers. Every dollar of dependable income outside of your physician paycheck reduces the amount of your life that must be sold to maintain your lifestyle. That is why the first property matters. That is why the first passive investment matters. That is why learning to live below your means matters. You are not simply trying to make more money. You're gradually buying back your time and creating more freedom. Look, physicians, we're really good at following established paths. College, medical school, residency, fellowship, attending job. But once we arrive, many of us realize that nobody really ever gave us a roadmap for the rest of our life. We know how to achieve the next credential, but we may not know what we're actually trying to build. So take some time to define what freedom looks like for you. Does freedom mean fewer clinical shifts? Does it mean being present for breakfast and dinner with your family? Does it mean being able to travel for a month? Does it mean practicing medicine because you love it, not because you need every single paycheck? Maybe it means starting a business, supporting a ministry, serving seniors, or creating a legacy for your children. You need to define the destination because it determines the strategy. You need to navigate before you accelerate. There's no value in building a huge portfolio if it consumes every evening and every weekend. There's no value in accumulating wealth if your family experiences you as distracted and unavailable. There's no value in escaping medicine only to become trapped by the business you built to escape it. The goal is not simply more, the goal is alignment. And this is something that I'm working on all the time. So you don't need to figure out the next 20 years tonight. You just need to identify the next responsible step. Maybe that step is calculating your true monthly expenses. Maybe it's paying off high interest debt. Maybe it's increasing your retirement contributions, or reading one good real estate book, or analyzing 5 properties in your market, or speaking with 3 experienced operators before making an investment. Or maybe it's buying your first house hacker rental property. Or maybe it's deciding right now that with your current family and career demands, the wisest move is to simplify rather than add another project. Sometimes we have addition by simplification, but the important thing is to act intentionally. Physicians are capable of learning difficult things. We've proven that. The physician brain is incredible. But we also need to release the belief that we must know everything before we're willing to take the first step. Look, you did not become a physician by mastering all of medicine on your first day of medical school. You learned one concept, one patient in one season at a time. Building financial freedom is the exact same way. So I want to leave you with this. Your physician income is incredibly valuable, but the greatest value of that income is not the lifestyle it can purchase today. It's the greatest value is the freedom that can help you build for tomorrow. Use this season of high income wisely. Buy assets, create margin, protect your family, diversify your income, build a life where you can continue practicing medicine because it aligns with your purpose, not because you're financially trapped. You do not need to own 1,000 properties. You do not need to quit your job. You do not need to become a real estate expert overnight. You simply need to keep moving in the right direction of greater autonomy, greater alignment, and greater freedom. Because ultimately, financial freedom is not about escaping work. It is about reclaiming the ability to decide how your time, skills, and life will be used. That is what we're building towards. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Physicians and Properties podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, please just share it with one physician who needs to hear it. And wherever you are listening, please consider subscribing and leaving a review. It helps us continue to reach physicians who are ready to build something greater, who are ready to create freedom through real estate and entrepreneurship. Until next time, keep taking intentional steps toward the life that you want to build. With that, it's Dr. Alex Schlow on the Physicians and Properties podcast, signing off. Hey, real quick, if you're still listening to this, I'm assuming you got value from it. So I need your help specifically. My 2-year vision with this podcast is to help 100,000 physicians learn how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want. There are 2 main ways that a podcast grows. One is through ratings and reviews, and the other is word of mouth. If you can please leave me a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as send this to 1 to 2 friends that you think would get value from it, we can reach the physicians that we want to reach. Thanks in advance, and talk to you on the next episode. Please note that the information shared on this podcast is for informational purposes only. It should not be considered financial or medical advice. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the host and the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense or the United States Air Force.